have a question. A question I ask myself often: can women have it all? And some people can say very easily, yes, now we are in the 21st century, they can have it all, whatever they want, they can go to the best schools, they can have the best jobs, the best husband, the best children, and we can do long lists like this. But what does have it all mean? What does it mean for you, Imran?
Yeah, actually, you are right, to define it and to define it in such a way that at different phases of your career, it might change. Therefore, define it in different phases, I think is very important. So I would say, you can have it all in the way you define it, but it takes a village most of the time. Uh, and why I say that, because, when you get your education, when you start first job, and then when you start traveling for your job, when you start relocating, having a family, having children, that the difficulty level is getting, higher and higher. So how do you manage all that? What are the support systems? Do you want to have it like that? I mean, do you want to manage it like that, or it is not needed? So you make a lot of choices, decisions given. And I think it really depends on the individual, your goals, your definition of success, life success or happiness at that moment in time. Yes, we want to plan for 3 years, 5 years, but what does it mean at that point in time for you? And you make a choice. So in that regard, yes, you can have it all, but as I said, there are many important decisions, critical decisions, and also sometimes there is a village behind you.
And sometimes there is a cost,
Yes,
a very high cost for
yes.
a lot of us. When I was younger, because I always saw women in my family working, I thought that it would be really easy to handle all together, my personal life, my professional life, without big issues. And once I married and then I had a child, I realized that it was really hard to have a perfect work family balance.
Mhm.
And I was in France, and it was, you know, it was the 80s, 90s, and women were talking about superwoman, being a superwoman. What does it mean? Can we be a superwoman? Can we be perfect everywhere in our lives? Why are we talking about superwoman when you talk about when you pronounce the word superman? For man, it's only a cartoon character. For a woman, it must be a reality. So what does it mean for you now, and what did it mean for you? Did you try to be a superwoman when you were younger, or did you decide that it wasn't possible?
I am definitely more relaxed now. I think I passed that stage of trying to be something and super and all that. But definitely in all of our lives, I think there is a stage where you are juggling so many balls and you really try to be the super person. I mean, I was traveling a lot in different phases of my career, so coming back, spending time with my children in the weekends, therefore trying to do many things um, just to be with them, the quality of relationships. So I mean, you prioritize in those situations and really give it your best. But I was lucky, I had my family around me when the kids were younger, mothers, sisters, of course, the role of spouses in this game, and Originally we were discussing about the burden on women, but these days a little better. We see more men participating in this, child care and other, household matters, which is a positive development. But in our days, I mean, of course, when we were younger, maybe it was not discussed as much. So I think juggling it all, trying to do your best, and I think the guilt, which we might speak in another session, but definitely there is that element of guilt. Am I doing the right thing? Questioning yourself. I think that's the continuous aspect of trying to do it all, which we have to deal with.
All my friends, female friends, they have not only tons of duties and thoughts, but also lists. We
Mhm.
all have lists. Lists with very different things, like lists for our work, lists for our family members, for our parents, and lists for our household. And sometimes we cannot handle all of this. We never finish this list because everybody needs something. And as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, I don't know why. I really still don't know why. We think that we are responsible of everything. Responsible at work, which seems normal because they gave us responsibilities and we are proud of it, but also responsible of everything at home. I always felt like this. And I don't know why I was responsible of the toothpaste, the toothbrush, kitchen, everything, everything, every time. And I still remember when I was working, I always worked very late in the evening, and I tried to be back for dinner, and it was really not easy to do it. And I remember I see myself running to the grocery shop, buying a lot of things, forgetting a lot of things, and coming back home, running to the kitchen and trying to do something to prepare dinner, anything. I am still really good at my job and still a mess in the kitchen. So I cannot have it all.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like if you talk about kitchen, I'm not also a big cook, or I cannot claim that, because I believe the time you invest versus the time it's consumed, it's not fair. So given that equation, I prefer to be more practical with that and do not, put a lot of energy. But also we know that in our Turkish culture, or in many cultures actually, of course, hosting is a big deal. Socialization, of course, is a big deal, and the food is part of it. Therefore, you have to find ways who can help you with cooking, who can, or where can you buy it? I mean, catering services, whatever, you have to find those options, or learn. I mean, basically, you have to learn, be practical. So that's kind of, I mean, I left it to the last maybe half of the list, but the top part of the list is really doing your best, as you say, at work. Of course, having like the family relationships, from the husband to mother to kids and many others, in that, because it might be a big family sometimes. Some of us might have smaller families, but there are also big families and many obligations in different cultures. um, that part is big. And then the social life, where, I mean, there are actually phases in your life you don't see your friends as much. And now I notice we are connected back to our high school friends, university friends more than before. What happened in the last 20 years? What were we doing? I think now you have more time, maybe then you can connect with them, the socialization part, etc. So, I mean, it really depends on the phase and the choices you have to make and what you are happy with.
Last week, I asked my son if he felt like I took enough time to play with him when he was really young.
Mhm.
And his answer was really surprising for me. He said, "You were there, really there, more than any other mother I know."
They're very nice. Yeah.
I, I, I was always thinking that I was never there enough. It was never
Mhm.
enough for me, never enough for him, because I was always running, rushing, having a lot of things to do, and being also very tired in the evenings with all this work. And I think that I'm pretty sure that children turn out great most of the time with working moms. What do you think about it?
Actually, it is again a balance of, if you are there, great, you will spend the quality time. But if you are not there, as you say, we plan in advance and we make sure there is option one, option two. I mean, in case, like if you have the husband, they might be in charge. If you don't have the husband at that point or whatever, then your maybe extended family. If not, maybe it's a neighbor, maybe it's, I mean, you always have those options planned and you know that things will be moving. But when you are there, I think you give more than 100%. And that's great that, your son is appreciating that because they get that more than 100% energy, maybe in 20%, 30% of the time. So that's, I think, balancing in a way. Most probably that, I mean, you can be there all the time and do nothing and read your newspaper, cook and clean. I mean, like the quality, we always talk about quality, and that's maybe a way of, just telling ourselves it works because it's the quality.
Now, I have a last question for you. What would you do for women if you were the queen of the world for one day?
Childcare is something we hear all the time. So some countries, childcare is very expensive. Some countries, there is family factor and support, which is great, but it is not a general truth because I lived in, like I am living in US now, in Europe, in Australia. Um, People cannot afford. So how can you make childcare affordable? I think will ease definitely the burden on the families, not only, women, but also men, the whole family. That affordability is key. It shouldn't be, only for people who make a certain amount of dollars or money. That will be my main focus. I think affordable child care.
Okay, so I think that we will dedicate this session to all women out there juggling, sometimes struggling, because we know that they are fabulous, fabulous, and they try to do their best. So
Actually, thank you very much. Today we talked mainly about children, but there is also the elderly and the parent care and other loved ones care, which most probably we should address in the future because the whole topic of care, I think definitely has a lot of space in women's agenda. So yeah, we want to thank all of them for doing what they are doing. And it's not only child care, but going forward, it will be also, I think, also the elderly care in the second phase of their life coming into the picture.
as women feeling responsible
Yeah.
of everything.
I think we have to delegate more. Let's say that. Let's delegate
Yeah,
more.
yes, we will talk about delegation because it's not the easiest part of a woman job or way of thinking.
Thank you.
So thank you. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.